So I wanted to give my thoughts on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'll give my non-spoiler thoughts to start off, and then I'll go into spoilers afterwards. Starting off, this is a fantastic series that is certainly worth your time. It does a great job with almost all of the characters and has a pretty good story on the whole. For me personally, the standout of the show was Baron Zemo, although Sam, Bucky, John Walker, and Isaiah Bradley were all fantastic as well. I enjoyed the themes it tackled, and the actors pulled off the material, especially when it is at its most mature, flawlessly. The action scenes were fun, although I will say I didn't find a lot of them to be particularly standout, although a fight in episode 5 is pretty awesome. My only big complaints are that there are some spots where the show is fairly slow, and that the villains of the show weren't too engaging to me. On the whole, if I had to use the whole scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give the series an 8.5. It's a very solid show. It continues the outstanding streak started with WandaVision and will hopefully continue with Loki in June. Next up is the spoilers. I like the plot of this show a lot. Sam gives away the shield since he doesn't feel worthy of it, and the government gives it to John Walker. There's a group of people called the Flag Smashers causing trouble because they felt that the world was better off with half of the population gone due to the blip. Bucky is also trying to make amends for what he did in the past as the Winter Soldier while dealing with John as Cap and helping Sam find the Flag Smashers. I was pretty engaged with this show and with the drama and overall story. One thing I was impressed with was just how much it felt like the Captain America movies, especially the Winter Soldier and Civil War. Despite the Russos not being involved, it really kept a similar tone and style. The characters of the show were very well done, with many having some surprises during the course of the show that I did not expect. Sam and Bucky both make wonderful main characters, as they should given that they are the main focus of the show. Sam Wilson's journey is awesome, and I liked his doubt in taking up the mantle that he eventually overcame. I enjoyed seeing the Wilson family. It gave me Hawkeye's farm vibes from Age of Ultron, and I love those scenes, and I like the sort of similar stuff here. Bucky had a great journey in the show, as was his big moment at the end talking to the father of a character he killed as the Winter Soldier had a bit more time and was shown a bit more. Speaking of the Winter Soldier, I love that flashback scene. The Winter Soldier is one of my favorite MCU villains and characters, so having just a bit more time with him was awesome. These two really carried the show, once again, as they should, and made a great team. I also love the callback to the seat joke from Civil War. That was one of my biggest laughs seeing Civil War for the first time, so it being referenced here was great. John Walker was an absolutely fantastic character in this show. He was almost immediately hated, and with some good reason, but I thoroughly enjoyed what he brought to this series. Walker was an awesome character that I hope pops up more, and judging by his ending in the show, he will be. Many fans hated this character the second he smiled in the suit, but I enjoyed him. I really felt for him in a lot of scenes, considering that he seemed like a pretty decent guy that just wanted to live up to the mantle, but making some mistakes along the way. The scene where he is demoted for being Captain America and where he's dealing with his best friend Lamar's death were some of the best that he had. As a whole, I just really liked this character and what he brought. The one character that I can honestly say that I did not care for was Carly Morgenthau. I could not have cared less about her plans and did not in any way feel bad for her. She was just too much of a bitch for threatening and killing innocent people and not listening to literally anyone that is speaking logically or with reason. I honestly disliked Sam talking about her dying like some great tragedy. Yeah, she was a teen that had, at first, a noble goal, but that changed, and she clearly showed that she did not want to go back. I don't know, this character just didn't work for me, despite thinking that the actress was really good in the part. It's just a shame that the character herself wasn't good. Now let's get to my boy, the man himself, Baron Zemo. I absolutely loved him in this show. He was awesome. My one disappointment with him was the fact that he didn't wear the purple mask more. I loved him as a villain in Civil War. He's more of an anti-hero in this show, but that's not a bad thing. I still liked what they did with him. He had a lot of cool moments, some pretty funny lines. Daniel Bruhl was awesome in the role. Of course, there's the now legendary dance scene that Marvel uploaded, like an hour-long version that I may or may not have had playing while I was working from home. So that was pretty awesome. Forget release the Snyder Cut. I know the Snyhards might be mad about that, but hey. Yeah, he was great. He was a standout for me in this show, the standout, and I really enjoyed him, and I really hope to see him come back. Also, there is Sharon Carter. who sometimes it's weird. I kind of forget she's in this show, despite being very happy to see her back, because it really seemed like they just kind of forgot about her for a little bit, I guess. And then they're doing some pretty interesting stuff with her, and I was kind of surprised to see her be kind of a bad guy, I guess, especially with where the ending of the show seemed to be leaning with that. So it'll be interesting to see where all that goes. Next up, all of the cast was fantastic. I don't think that there was a poor performance in this entire show. Sebastian Stan especially brought it. That scene at the beginning of episode 4 that shows that Hydra's mind control no longer affects him was great. The other biggest scene for me was when Sam showed Isaiah Bradley the section dedicated to him at the museum. Those two scenes were the biggest standouts, although there's other fantastic examples. Wyatt Russell is also fantastic. To get the amount of hate for a character that he got needs a certain level of acting that he exceeded. Also, like referenced earlier, the court scene and scenes showing him dealing with his best friend's death were very well done by him. This is a well-acted show where everyone seems to be bringing their A game and then some. Now on to the action scenes. They were fine. My thing is, aside from the fight between Sam, Bucky, and John Walker, for me, a lot of it was just kind of like, not bad or anything. They seem to kind of go in one ear and out the other, I guess. Like I said, there's a bunch of cool stuff. Like, the first fight with Sam and Batroc was pretty decent. The action in the finale was pretty good. None of it's bad. It's just, for me personally, just seemed kind of there, I suppose. Now, the themes of the show, let's say sensitive stuff, like, some of the more racial issues and whatnot, I thought it was very well done in this show. There's a lot of stuff out there now where it seems like that stuff is kind of just in your face, I guess, and it's just a bit much. This show handled it all very well. I really like Sam and Isaiah Bradley's discussion in, I believe it was episode 5, talking about how they won't let a black man be Captain America and all that. What I really liked about that whole thing was, if I remember right, Sam even says later that he understands where Isaiah is coming from, but he doesn't agree. And for me, that was kind of a big deal, because it really seems like nowadays in the world, you either agree with someone or you just wholeheartedly disagree. To me, that was pretty cool to see a main character who definitely has dealt with some issues. It may not seem like much, it's just, to me, that was pretty cool. And despite thinking it went on a little long, I did like Sam's speech at the end of the series. As someone who generally just doesn't really enjoy real world politics being thrown in and stuff, and yeah, I know that comics and all that have had those kind of things in there, but a lot of things are really just heavy-handed nowadays. So having a show where it didn't feel like it was talking down to you to a certain extent while exploring these things was pretty awesome. I honestly really enjoyed that aspect of the show. So overall, again, I really enjoyed this show. It was great. It was a great second entry with Marvel's Disney Plus shows. For me personally, between the two, I definitely prefer WandaVision, but that's just because it's a bit more of what I'm into when it comes to the superhero stuff. I also do love the real world angle that this show has and continues from the later Captain America movies, because The Winter Soldier is one of my personal favorite MCU movies, but when it comes down to it, I do like people shooting lasers and flying around and this and that, and WandaVision kept me engaged the whole time, whereas there were points in Falcon and the Winter Soldier where my interest did slip ever so slightly. But yeah, this is a great show. Definitely check it out. I'm going to be posting more reviews of movies and TV shows and stuff like that, so hopefully this is a decent first try. Right now, I really don't have a good setup with a mic and being able to record stuff. I mean, the mic I have is pretty good. I just don't have everything to really make it super great being able to record, and I'm still new to having to edit just the audio, so hopefully I can get this sounding pretty okay. But yeah, I'd love to keep doing this more. I love talking about movies and TV and whatnot, and I like to post my thoughts here, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So I hope you enjoyed this review for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you could, leave this video a like, maybe comment your thoughts. If you like what you hear, maybe subscribe. Yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great day.